In the last video, I challenged you to think differently about the writer and the audience of this book. That's important because the ancient Hebrews were thinking in terms of function, whereas we think in terms of the material world, especially when looking at Genesis. What the introduction was, the first couple of verses, what the Hebrew gets out of it is that God is going to bring order out of chaos. That's what the whole concept is. That God created and was, without form and void. In other words, it was useless, not habitable. So he's going to hear about what God invented to make it habitable, how he did this. It's real simple. Now, when we think of without form and void, it was a messed up, we tend to think of like Big Bang Theory. We think about the cosmos and cosmic dust and, the planets forming and, out of almost nothing and all that kind of scientific stuff. But when the Hebrew thinks about chaos, he mostly just thinks the earth is here and it's messed up. Like the landscape of Mars or something, just rocks and whatever. That's the way he thinks. So when you go to look at Genesis, you have to think in terms of the way the ancient Hebrew thought. So let's take a look at that. Let's do day 1, which is in Genesis 1. It's verses 3 through 6. Or 3 through 5, rather. Sorry about that. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. That's useful in his thinking. God separated the light from the darkness and called the light day and the darkness night, and the evening and the morning first day. Why do you need a new name for light if you've already got one? Why do you need a new name for darkness if you already have one? Light is day, and that's good. And night, he doesn't say is good. In other words, it's not too useful. There's lots of things you can do in the daytime that you really can't do at night. But what does the ancient Hebrew get out of all of this? He's thinking day, night, 24 cycles. Remember I said the Hebrews think in terms of circles? Circles. 24 hours brings you all the way back to another evening. That's time. The first thing that Moses instructs the people is that God invented the concept of time. So when a Hebrew wakes up in the morning, he's thinking, I'm living in a supernatural world where God made the time to progress. And that this is all very good, very useful, simplistic maybe. But that's the way the ancient Hebrew would think. He would think God invented time. That's day 1. That's all he thought about. God invented time. He doesn't get out of it the cosmos. He doesn't get out of it astronomy. He doesn't get out of it Big Bang Theory. He doesn't get any of that stuff. That all, stuff that's all been invented in the last 500 years. He doesn't get any of that. He says, God made time. I count time by days. Yeah. That's all there is. Nothing special. Nothing weird. Nothing cosmic and ethereal. God made time. Now, do we have it wrong when we say God created the material world? Maybe not so wrong. But we're certainly not thinking like an ancient Israelite. So, do we have it wrong and they have it right, or are we smarter in our modern times with our technology and science than the ancient shepherds were? I don't know. I don't think so. I think there probably isn't any deeper message in here than time. But whether we get it right or we have it wrong, it doesn't matter a huge amount. because God is not explaining the material world to us. But what we do know is whether we are right or whether we are wrong, the Master always loves us. So keep looking up at the Master, because you never go wrong that way.